Welcome back to DK Sports Radio. You're listening to the Miller Lite Q&A podcast. Yes, this is Chris Carter, NFL analyst here at DKPittsburghSports.com, here with our lead Pirates beat writer, Lance Lysowski. Lance, how you doing, my man?
Chris, good afternoon. Great to be here.
Yes, it's great to be here. We got some questions from you subscribers that you've put in over the week, and we're going to answer them here on the show. We're going to lead off in my ballpark, football territory, Lance. Let's get started. We have a question from Tim Tomasi, who asks, without including linebacker play, is the Steelers' defensive line good enough to win a Super Bowl? Do you think they'll make any moves in the draft or free agency to improve the position? I'll hang up and listen to your response. Thanks, Tim, for the question. Lance, I know that the defensive line was a sore spot because of the way that they played against the Jaguars in the playoffs, but all being, considering how they played throughout the season, they were a pretty sharp unit as I was evaluating throughout the year.
They have Stephon Tuitt and Cam Hayward.
Exactly.
They're two of the better defensive linemen in the league. And Cam Hayward was he wasn't the best offensive lineman in the league last year, but he was one of the best. I mean, look at the numbers he put up as a 3-4 end. I mean, it's unbelievable what the guy can do when he's healthy. I don't understand why it's such a cause for concern. Yes, there were moments last year where they underperformed at times, but the entire defense, you could say the same thing for them. Right. So I think you add one or two more guys, somebody to complement Hargrave, somebody else to kind of give them more depth, because when Tuitt goes down, there is a drop-off there. This team, and I think that not only the defensive line, I think across the board, particularly on defense, depth. If they get a few more guys here or there, of course, there are the two spots they need a starter at, but there is a lot of talent on that unit.
Yeah, I agree entirely, and especially with the defensive line. Tyson Alualu was a huge upgrade as their third option at defensive end, because what they had before between Cam Thomas and Ricardo Matthews were guys that weren't that athletic. They were just, spot players. But Tyson Alualu, he's athletic enough to be able to play one gap and move to another, and smart enough to be able to find ways to win in tough spots. That was able to keep the defensive line together when Tuitt was out, because he missed 5 games this past year. And that would have been before. I think that might have been a death knell for the defense, but they were able to survive it.
Yeah, and that's another type of player that I would bring in. Go add another veteran free agent to be another depth piece for the defensive line, or maybe somebody who plays a lot more than Alualu was asked to play last season. I think that the building blocks are there. I mean, you have Tuitt, you have Hayward. You look across the league, I don't know there's many teams that can say they have two guys that good on the same defensive line, especially now that the Rams got rid of Robert Quinn. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't think it's a cause for concern. I think there's a lot of other areas on this defense that you could say, okay, maybe they need an upgrade here.
No, yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that also, I think that if you're looking anywhere on this in this draft for anyone, you're looking for an interior defensive lineman again, but like someone, like you said, that complement Hargrave, because LT Walton's a decent depth guy, but you need a guy that's like a mauler in the middle of the field, and Hargrave isn't that. He's a good pass rusher, he's a good spot defender, but the problem is that when he matches up against those huge centers and guards that don't let you just beat them with technique, they will overpower you. They need to have a guy that can be that anchor and plug up a hole and make sure that the line of scrimmage doesn't get changed and moved backwards by those guys in the middle. And I think that they might be able to do that. There's talk about moving Cam Sutton to safety, and if they do, that would drop back the priority of drafting a free safety. Because my initial read has been they need to go 1-2 inside linebacker and safety in either order, because those are their primary concerns. But I also said that interior defensive line, I think, is a huge need to finalize a solid three-man front.
Yeah, and the good news for them is that they can find kind of a mauler, a big guy in the middle for a lot lesser of a pick than you have to take,
because no one's
to get a guy
those.
like Hayward or get a guy like Tuitt. Those are game changers. You don't need a guy who can take over a game at some points. You need a guy who is really sound against the run, who can play a lot of snaps, who can be pretty much an every down lineman with Hargrave kind of mixing in to kind of play the matchup game a little bit. So again, this is kind of a luxury problem for the Steelers to have. They don't need to go out and get a potential Pro Bowler. You get a guy who's a sound football player to help fill that hole.
But to answer your question, Tim, yes, I do think that they have the defensive line to win the Super Bowl. I still think they should add another piece to be sure. But let's remember, two of the most dominant defensive lines all year were the Eagles and the Vikings. And in both of their last games of the season, they each gave up a ton of points. So every defensive line, no matter how talented, is going to have a bad day. I think that's the bottom line there. We'll be back answering more questions from you, the fans.
It's time to cash in on non-stop sports action with MyBookie.ag. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event, plus MyBookie.ag will match your deposit with a bonus up to 100%. With decades of expertise and no-hassle payouts, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code DKRadio to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-BETS or visit mybookie.ag to open an account. Sign up today.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit schneiderdowns.com.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this amazing new website, stepoutside.org. Hi, I'm Dan Kovacevic of DK Sports Radio. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know about the outdoor life that's available to all of us in Western Pennsylvania. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, hunting, take part in power sports, shooting sports, water sports in your local community, across our region, across the country at stepoutside.org.
In Pittsburgh, we bleed black and gold and love our city. Born in Pittsburgh and now celebrating 130 years in business, Henny Jewelers is proud to be your premier jewelry store. Whether it's choosing that watch you've always wanted or you're searching for the ring that was made for her, trust Henny Jewelers. Visit our store on Walnut Street in Shadyside to see our extensive inventory of designer engagement rings, watches, and one-of-a-kind jewelry. For more, go to hennyjewelers.com and follow on social.
Embarrassed by that stained carpet in your office? Tired of looking at your dull, dirty floor? My Floor Needs is here to fix that. With years of experience and 24/7 service, My Floor Needs offers stripping and waxing, carpet, tile, grout, and concrete cleaning, as well as polishing and buffing services. Call 888-67-MY-FLOOR or email info@myfloorneeds.com for a free estimate and get your floors looking like new again. Whatever your floor needs, call 888-67-MY-FLOOR.
Does your company ever miss its sales goals or struggle getting new business?
Is it tough to hire or to give reps the right tools?
Hi, I'm Dan, and I started Engaged Prospect right here in Pittsburgh to help companies like yours.
And I'm Sam. We're helping companies hit sales goals and grow their businesses.
Think of us as your inside sales team.
Our clients are experts in their fields. We're experts in inside sales.
Give us a call today at 412-715-5151.
Or visit us online at engagedprospect.com/DK.
It's been 50 years since the Summer of Love, but if you're not performing as well as you'd like, check out NEDforless.com. I'm Eric Cushy of Curtis Pharmacy. Don't pay premium prices for the little blue pill. So Denafil, the same active ingredient as in Viagra, costs 80% less. NEDforless.com. All we need is your physician's name. We do the rest. Free shipping, too. NDDforless.com. Curtis Pharmacy, Western PA's Better Way Pharmacy. CurtisPharmacy.com.
Welcome back to DK Sports Radio. You're listening to the Miller Lite Q&A podcast with Chris Carter and Lance Lysowski. Now, we just answered one question on the Steelers. We're going to switch and go into Lance's territory. That's talking Pirates baseball. Let's crack open this question, Lance. This comes from Swede, who asks, are Moran and Dickerson going to make the left side of the diamond a gold mine for hitters? Haven't heard anything positive about their fielding.
Well, it is something to monitor. The Pirates are replacing David Freese, who was a Gold Glove finalist at third base last year, with a guy who has 16 games of Major League experience. And by all accounts, a lot of scouts have said that he's probably going to have to switch positions at some point and that they're not sure he'll stick at third base. That said, everything I've seen in spring training doesn't really lead me to be concerned about Moran's defense at third base. He's not going to be as good at Freese as Freese was there, but I think he has more upside offensively, and this team didn't hit for enough power. He's a guy who could provide that.
The real question is he going to be Pedro Alvarez?
No, I think he's better than Pedro Alvarez. I don't know what Pedro Alvarez really wanted to be as a young player. He was a head case. You know, they offered him a route for an everyday job, Alvarez that is, at first base, and he didn't care to learn it. So, different story here. I think Moran has everything it takes mentally to kind of to take on a big role like that. Dickerson's the one I'm a little bit more, I guess, a little concerned about because that left field it's a big area.
Yeah.
And you saw last year when the Pirates are putting Jose Osuna or John Jaso or any other number of guys out there, it's difficult. Even Gregory Polanco, who's a perfect fit to play left field, hated it. He struggled so badly that he has to move back to right. So I think that, you hear Neil Huntington say that, okay, I'm confident that he's athletic enough to do it. Dickerson said he's a lot better of an outfielder than people give him credit for. The thing is here, Chris, that we kind of forget about is that Andrew McCutchen was one of the worst defensive center fielders in baseball last year.
Yeesh.
According to Fangraphs, he accounted for negative 16 defensive run saves. That's not a good number, negative 16.
Negative 16 just sounds good.
Now, Marte moving over to center, his metrics will be very positive. He might emerge as one of the better defensive center fielders in the National League. Polanco will be very good in right field. He's a very good right fielder. He'd be a good left fielder if he mentally embraced it. But so they can afford Dickerson to not be the best outfielder out there. Now, how bad is he going to be? We'll see. I think he'll be better than Jose Osuna will. That's what makes this interesting because you move Adam Frazier out of left field, and now he's more of a utility guy, and Frazier would have been a very good defensive left fielder. Right. But, the fans, want more power. They want more high upside with the offense, and that's what Dickerson brings. The guy hit 27 home runs last year. He's, back-to-back 25 home run seasons. Yeah, they need a guy like that. Now, it's going to hurt you at times defensively. There will be moments where he's not able to make that throw to home to gun a runner down that maybe if Polanco was over there, Polanco would be able to make, or even Jose Osuna for that matter. So there's going to be some give and take there. I'm very curious to see how it all pans out because you're not going to know in spring training. It's going to be when the Pirates get to PNC Park how you'll see Corey Dickerson play out there.
Yeah, certainly going to be have something you have to wait for. It's nothing. I mean, it's like with any sport. You can't tell anything in training camp. Yeah, how it's definitely going to work out during the season.
We love to overanalyze, though. Overcook.
That's our job. We're doing the hard work so that you guys don't have to.
Everybody loves to do it. That's what kind of gets the ball rolling with every sports season. That's why we overanalyze. Even fans do preseason games. For the NFL, X backup quarterback threw 2 touchdown passes. Should he be starting over the starter? And so on and so forth. So we get to see certain things that actually matter in spring training. But in terms of Corey Dickerson's fielding, only time will tell.
They crazy, yo. So there you go. Thanks for the question, Swede. And that's us wrapping it up for this week's Miller Lite Q&A podcast. Thanks for the questions to crack them open. Be sure to check in next week for more Miller Lite Q&A podcast. But in between then, we have lots of great content coming at you from DK Sports Radio. Be sure to be tuned in as we get you lots of podcasts coming up throughout the week covering the NFL Combine, Steelers Draft Talk. Of course, more news that Lance will be going back down to Bradenton soon. So, we have
see what happens.
And we'll see what happens. And we also have Penguins making their March push to the playoffs. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.